Hi guys, I'm here on the Jaguar Media Drive event and I'm here to drive three different cars, and one of them is the E-Pace. Now the E-Pace may look like the same car that was introduced not that long ago, it seems, 2017, but this is in fact an entirely new car. It's based on a new platform, and it's an architecture that's designed to take batteries. So this particular car, although you can still get them as petrol and diesel cars, but this particular one is the P300E, and it's a plug-in electric drive hybrid. Now I'm reading from notes here because time is short and we're on a media launch. So what I'll tell you about the car is that whilst it looks familiar, it is redesigned. It's got a new grille, new bonnet, new styling, but they have retained the look of the old car. It even keeps the little cub Easter egg on the windscreen. That's still there like it was before. Under the bonnet of this thing is actually a 3-cylinder petrol engine. It's an Ingenium engine, as they call it, 1.5 litres, but it actually manages to put out 200 horsepower and about 280 Newton meters of torque. And that's combined with an electric rear axle drive motor. That's 109 horsepower. That's at the back, and together they have about 310 horsepower, 310 horsepower. This thing is good for 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.1 seconds. Now they say charging is 0 to 80% in about 30 minutes. You know, that's what most manufacturers will claim. It's got 15 kilowatt lithium ion battery. I'll put the other stats and things on the screen, and I'll have a little look around the car as well, and just, you know, show you the boot and the interior of the car before we take it for a little drive. Before we do that, make sure that you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy. Make sure you follow me on all the social media. Just search for my hashtag. It is #browncarguy, and of course subscribe to browncarguy.com. Cool. Let's check out the boot before we take it for a drive. Let's check out the boot. It is of course power lift tailgate, and I think I can operate it from there. Now as standard it's 601 litres, and if you put the seats down it's a 1386, so quite a substantial amount of room. And actually it's not bad for a little car like that. I mean, if you think about it, yes, I can see that the floor height is up to the ledge here, which actually makes it more convenient, but there is a little bit of space under there, so you can put the cables for the charging. That's where they are at the moment, in the back there, but otherwise generally quite spacious. And of course it's got the split folding rear seat, so actually a really practical little car. And I think in some ways it's the ideal car for around town when it comes to the Jaguar SUVs. Cool. Okay, so I'm getting into this side because, again, left-hand drive car. This is my driving position, and it's a little bit tight, I've got to confess. That's interesting. I think that's where you can actually put a screen or something, because there's also a little USB power supply in the back of the seat here. There's a little power supply over here as well. Nothing there, just a pocket and 2 AC vents. There is also an armrest with 2 cup holders and Isofix chassis anchor points. It's quite airy and spacious in here because, as I mentioned, that panoramic roof comes all the way back to the rear, so actually it provides more light here in the back of the cabin than it does in the front. So in some ways you could say it feels more airy here and more spacious in the sense than it does in the front, even though it is clearly less spacious here. But again, I'm 6'2" with long legs, so therefore this is an issue that I have to deal with. You have to test it out for normal size adults. I think it would be not so bad, but it's not as spacious obviously as an F-Pace. That's a considerable distance. Otherwise it's all really nicely trimmed and pretty good here. Time to get into the front. So we're in the Jaguar new E-Pace media drive, so let me go through this spec sheet quickly to let you know what is new about it. Updated exterior, as I've said. You know, it's got new LED headlights, new revised lower apertures, it says, new grille design, but you know, it looks very similar to the old car. Intuitive PV Pro infotainment, that's the thing. This screen is massive. I mean, it's bigger than the car. It's huge, you know, absolutely gargantuan, but pretty much the same size, I think, as the F-Pace that I tried earlier. Very intuitive to use. Slightly glitchy when I started off. There was a little bit of a glitch, but then it kind of reset itself, and then since then it's been fine, so that's okay. Driver focus cabin, it says here, and you've got this one. That actually was in the original E-Pace, so that's quite nice. I like this steering wheel. Lots of nice little touches. A little R badge down there, and it's got a heads-up display. The other one also had. This one also has a digital mirror. So it's got a digital display on the thing I'm not a fan of those, so I've put it back to normal. But if you want to see more behind you, that definitely shows you a lot more. The sunroof is interesting because it starts sort of here, so it's really the panoramic-ish sunroof is sort of more for the benefit of the rear passengers than it is for the front. 3D surround camera, and this is of course electric. So from here, I can actually choose the modes, just the same as in the F-Pace plug-in electric hybrid. I can actually choose to have a hybrid mode, an EV mode, or a save mode, in which it actually tries to save the battery on the motorways and stuff like that, so that you can use it in town. And then similarly, you can see that operating from here as well, and it shows you the range. I still got 49% in this one, whereas in the F-Pace I depleted it, but I was driving a bit harder. That was quite a sporty car actually, and that's all very nice to use. Again, climate control is separate, wireless charger, same little stubby transmission lever with the sports mode and paddle shifts as well. Very, very nice. I like it. I think that in terms of the sporty intent and the surprising ability of what it could do, the F-Pace plug-in hybrid is for me the slightly more interesting car. But having said that, this is a fun little car, and to be honest, for most people it makes more sense. You know, it's just more compact car. Left-hand drive, you may have noticed, that's because these are international spec cars that we're driving here. Not a huge amount of difference between comfort mode, and not as pronounced as it was in the F-Pace, but still you get a little bit more of a response, you know, slight change in the attitude of the vehicle, and obviously with the gearbox and sports mode, you get this more sportier ratios and stuff like that. So overall, I've been driving this car around. The compact size really makes it, I mean, left-hand drive, driving it around, and we've been going into some small cities and villages and cities and stuff, and it hasn't been an issue at all, because again, it's a compact size, it's not an issue. It does feel smaller in here than the F-Pace, there's no question about that, but I wouldn't say it's claustrophobic or anything like that. Ride is actually quite good, doesn't get bounced around or anything like that you might think. Let's try the paddle shifts. So paddle shifts, same sort of change, undramatic, you know, not too much theatre going on with those paddle shifts. They're just getting on and doing their job. In fact, I'm just going to put it back into full automatic. The sound doesn't get as aggressive. I mean, there's definitely some enhancement to the sound, but it's not as aggressive as it was in the F-Pace. So it's quite interesting that the bigger car hybrid is definitely the sportier thing compared to this one, although this one's no slouch. I mean, you know, it's got performance whenever you need it. A little bit more agile, a little bit, you know, keener turn in, as sort of, you know, it kind of relates nicely to the little cub that's on the windscreen, that little Easter egg. That it's just a little bit more eager, and obviously compared to the other car. But you know, generally, would I say it's a hot hatchish sort of thing? I would say it's a warm hatchish sort of thing. Yeah, definitely. I think it would be in that category. Steering is light, not a huge amount of, you know, it's not telling you a lot of what's going on, but it's reasonably responsive. Little bit of, you know, sway and a little bit of play in it, but otherwise it's not too bad at all. Brakes are good. Again, they don't have to work that hard in this car compared to the other one, so it's not too bad. You know, just a little bit more of a run-up needed for overtaking, but once it's up to speed, it's not an issue at all. So overall, then, it's a really good car. I think what they've done is they've taken all the attributes of the E-Pace, but they've now sort of future-proofed them, if you like, or modernized them, to bring them up to date, and to make sure that, you know, it's with the times, because in some ways this technology is actually more sophisticated than even its bigger brother. Yeah, good turn-in, good response at the steering wheel, you know, reasonable amount of grip, but you know, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have the, obviously I've just jumped out of the 400, you know, and it doesn't quite have that level of like get up and go. Oh, it's more resistant to understeer, definitely. So it keeps hold of the corner quite well. Yeah. Brakes are reassuring. Nice application of power, not too bad. You run out of revs quite quickly,
After 3/4 of a mile, turn right.
Just prone to slight understeer, but generally holds the line pretty well actually. So I'm thinking of rethinking that whole warm hatch, hot hatch. I think maybe it's sort of erring more towards hot hatch really. But yeah, so overall I think, yeah, really good car. Really quite enjoyable for what it is, but also quite practical. If you're looking for performance, you know, quite a lot of performance, then probably this is not the car that you are looking for. But if you're looking for something that's practical and that's reasonable, then I think that this one does make sense. We're on some little tiny little roads now, quite slippery, but again, they suit this car, or the car suits the road, and not really an issue. And again, it's quite a bouncy road, but it's, you know, and you can probably see that I'm being bounced up and down, but it's not uncomfortable at all. So they're the Jaguar attributes of remaining comfortable and corseting, remain while still remaining whilst being sporty as well. This is actually fun. The gear, it's interesting with the gears because if you leave it to its own devices, it's not quite quick enough to respond, but then you want to use the paddles and then you run out of revs too quickly, so you've really got to be on it and alert about using the transmission. 8 speeds, so you really can stretch it out across, you know, quite a range. Go second gear acceleration in the slippery surface, not bad at all. So there you go. I like the car. I've always liked the car. I ran one of these long term and I liked it at the time. I still like them. I think it's a really good car. Yeah, well done. And obviously now, next evolution, really good. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. And you know what? Try to leave a comment, try to share it. And of course, you're subscribing, right? To youtube.com/browncarguy. And follow me on my blog as well, which is just browncarguy.com. Look me up on the socials. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even on TikTok. Just search for my hashtag, which of course is #browncarguy. And you know what? If you enjoy my content, you can also sponsor it from as little as £2 or $2 a month, the price of buying me a coffee. You do that, right? These guys did, the guys that are coming up on the screen right now. And in return for that, they get their name on even the URL or anything else they want to mention at the end of my videos, in many of my Instagram posts, and also at the end of my articles on the blog as well. And that's a fair bit of reach because on my Instagram, I have nearly 8,000 followers. On this channel, there's there's over 2,000 subscribers, and I have in total about 350,000 views over the space of just over a year. So a fair bit of reach, and then you can join these incredible people coming that are on the screen as you see behind me, which is Muhammad Ali Humaid, Partha Srinivasan, find him on parthans.com, Tom Conway Gordon here in the UK, Isaac Beauchard over in America, find him on bespokeautos.com, Reza Adel right here, find him on Instagram at Alizadeh Cigars, Muhammad Qasim, you can find him on WEHMS.com. Siraj Abbasi, check out amazing floors and tiling and stuff that they do on virtuosodesign.london. Mark Waddell over in Canada, and Zach Kogiani, check out his photography on zachkogianiphotography.com. These are awesome friends of mine, awesome buddies, because they're supporting me. You can join them too, and your name could be coming up on here. Just head over to patreon.com/browncarguy. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all again soon in the next video.